I don't know how to start this. What do you want to do? Do we just be like, we're the Bromance Book Club, and that's what we're doing?
I mean, that sounds good to me.
Hello, we are the Bromance Book Club, and this is the exciting first episode ever, and we're really
Yeah.
I'm Graham. Do you want to? I'm going to call you Book Daddy the whole time, unless you want to go by something else.
You can call me Josh, Joshua, or Bookish Daddy, whichever.
So Josh and I, we decided to read a book this week, and it is the Bromance Book Club. There we go. And we're excited. I'm very excited to talk about this book because honestly, the whole reason I wanted to do this with you was we were talking a little earlier, but we started around the same time. We both decided to be book daddies. And
Oh, yeah.
And we're both dads, and we're also, for some reason, just reading romantasy. And so it's just stars align, and I was like, there's no one better I want to start a bromance with than you, dude.
I appreciate it. And it's so random, too, because, I mean, most of what I was reading prior to starting a booktube was all high fantasy and sci-fi.
Uh-huh.
And then right as I started this channel, I had started my Sarah J. Maas, escapade, and it's just romance and romantasy is all I have been reading lately.
That's so awesome. I started Sarah J. Maas at romantasy as well this year because my wife got into it. And this is my first like pure romance novel that we're about to talk about. So
Heck yeah, I think it was my third.
third. All right, cool.
So speaking of your first romance, what'd you end up rating it?
To be honest, this is a shocker. Like, I think I need to do like a small backstory of like why we chose this book. Is like my wife was making fun of it every time we'd walk into Barnes and Noble. She was like,
Yeah.
"You should read this with a friend," and I was like, "That is so dumb. Like, that's hilarious and it's stupid. Like the name, it just, I don't know. It was just making me laugh every time." And I was like, "You know what? We should do something." And so I came in here without knowing anything about I didn't even read the blurb on the back. I was like, "Let's just do this." And so
Right.
I literally laughed so hard and I enjoyed it so much that I gave this a 4.5 stars, man. Like, I really enjoyed it a lot.
I'm right up there with you. So, same thing. I knew nothing about this book, like anything. And then when you mentioned it, I was like, sure, why not? I'll read another romance. And I went in with low expectations just based off of not knowing the author, not knowing the book. I had never even seen the cover. And I actually give it 5 stars. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I thought it was a super fun read.
It's so good. Part of me really wants to give it a 5 stars, but I feel like some of the topics for me personally was like, I would never do that. Like, I don't think this dude would, like, this guy's a doofus. Like, if you guys don't know what the, like, storyline is of this book, if this is your first time hearing about it, we're going to be spoiling everything, just to let you know.
Yeah.
So join our book club and read it and then come back and, like, listen to us talk about it. But the big synopsis is this is about Gavin Scott, who's, like, the baseball player in a fake MLB team, the Nashville Legends, I think it was called.
Yeah, I think so.
And then his wife Thea, they're threatened to be divorced, and the whole reason they're going to get divorced is because Gavin found out that Thea has been faking orgasms for her.
Yeah, faking the Big O.
The Big O is what they call it. And I was like, oh wow, like you're upset about that. That's crazy. So like that was the thing that made me almost give it 5 stars. Is like I think that one topic for me, like the whole point was there's like this scene, big spoiler, whatever scene, but like they're having their intercourse, or he hit a grand slam, and they're doing their thing, and he's like, "What noise did you just make? What? Oh my gosh! Oh, I have to leave now." And you're like, "What are you talking about?" Like I would be like,
"Yeah,"
I'd be like, "Hell yeah, let's do more of that." Like whatever. I would never be like, "How dare you be faking it for 3 years?" Like, well, I guess I better step up my game. Like I don't. His reaction was so bonkers to me.
The only thing about his reaction, like you said, that confused me was I couldn't tell if I think I would have got it or been more on his side if it would have been the lying for 3 years he would have been upset about.
Yeah.
Like, not the fact that he wasn't like, it was a pride thing to him. It wasn't like her lying to him for 3 years. It was that he couldn't give her the Big O. And
Yeah,
like you said, that part I was like, okay, dude, but I could understand if his first thought was, "Oh wow, my spouse has been lying to me our entire marriage," but that wasn't his take.
I know, but it's like the time and place too. Like you don't like you don't like have fun, and then you just go like, oh, I don't know. It was just like that part was the part that was like, this whole scenario is ridiculous, and I feel like in a but this could just be like, I'm in a healthy relationship too. I mean, this book talks about
Yeah,
gaining a healthy relationship, and then so for me, it'd be like, oh, like it would just make me try harder or like be different, you know? Like I would never
yeah,
be this guy like, oh, I'm so hurt. But it's crazy because like we start with that story arc, and as you said, it evolves as we read the book. Like
yeah.
it's called the Bromance Book Club. He's heard about this, and his friends come, and I don't know. We have to talk about the book club because the characters that show up to help him out are top tier. Made me laugh the entire time.
Right. They and on the back it clarify or it says alpha males. Like that's the whole thing. Is it's all the town's alpha males. It's
Yeah,
everything from successful real estate people to hockey players to all the like
yeah,
top league men in the city, and they just happen to be into romance novels
hmm
and girly things and figuring out how to fix relationships, even though they're supposed to be all these like big burly guys.
yeah.
It was a really good concept. What's funny about you taking half a star for that scene is I almost took one. So at one point in the book, uh, they bring in pumpkin spice lattes,
Yes,
and he loves it, and he's surprised, and then we never hear about it again. I waited the whole rest of the book
that's
for him to surprise his wife with one, and it never is brought up again.
that's funny. You almost took away a star because he didn't bring the pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah, I kept waiting. I was like, dude, this is your opportunity. Because at one point she even asked for a coffee, and he pours her a cup of black coffee. I was like, why didn't he go get the pumpkin spice latte he just learned about?
I mean, I liked how it was all these like dude bros like, oh man, like it's pretty good, huh? Like, yeah, it is. It's rad. And they're all like secretly, they're reading secret romance novels, lattes. I love the every single like stock like the ones that were, man, what am I trying to say? The ones that were like zoomed in on the most, which was the hockey player
Yeah,
and Dell and the douchebag Mac.
Mac,
Yeah,
that's his name.
Mac,
Mac.
he was harassing Gavin the whole time. Like he was a huge jerk. But those three characters in one room, like every time it was book club day, it was just making me laugh so hard because of their interactions with each other. Like Mac eating everyone's food and just flirting with everyone's wife, and you're like, I kind of hate you and like you at the same time. And Vlad doesn't speak very good English, but he has an IBS issue, and that's funny. Like I remember there's like a part where it's like it's literally the first few pages on like page 6. He's like he's like pizza doesn't agree with me, gives me the shits. It's pretty much like immediately, and I was like, dang, that's funny. Like this is the first few pages of the book, and I'm already knowing about this guy's bowel movements, and that's hilarious. So,
Yeah, he was probably one of my favorite characters. Was the Russian.
the Russians.
Mac annoyed the he annoyed the crap out of me. Mac's whole vibe coming in and like pestering him in the middle of his like crisis with his wife.
Yeah.
I kept getting annoyed with, but other than that, who would you say your favorite character in the book
I
was?
mean, I'm with you, man. The Russian had me dying. Like, I love the Russian. I honestly I like Thea as well. I thought I was expecting this to just be from Gavin's perspective, but we also got it from
Hmm.
Thea's perspective, and so I liked because she moved the story forward every time it was her. So I liked her growth throughout it of finding her own
Yeah.
baggage and why she hid from herself, essentially. So I love Thea's story arc, but I have to give it to the Russian because there's one part. I'm a huge hockey fan. I don't know if you knew that about me. I think I talked to you
No,
briefly.
I didn't.
Yeah, love hockey. And so there's a part where he is like undercover wearing a Detroit Red Wings jersey. And the
Yeah,
Nashville
yeah.
Predators rival team, literally, like as soon as I read that before you even said it, is the Detroit Red Wings. And so I was laughing so hard because like I know that's freaking Vlad. And then he's like, this is a good disguise. This is my rival team. And it's so funny.
Yeah.
Like I loved it because it literally is that. Like Detroit
See,
so funny.
that's so funny because I didn't even catch that reference. I have never watched a hockey game, so I didn't get it.
Yeah, no, it was just making me laugh so hard because it's like they're in Nashville. He's part of the Nashville Predators, so wearing Detroit just makes so much sense for him trying to be undercover because he just kind of, I don't know, it was so funny to me. So here's a
See,
favorite.
I liked him, and then if I had to pick like a favorite, it was the fictional character in the fictional story,
Oh yeah,
and that was the Count.
yes,
So every time he started getting like a third person voice in his head from reading his first romance novel, that was cracking me up.
I think it's cracked me up because I've been there. Like the inner monologues of Gavin, I've like he kept calling him like Mr. Smarty Pants or Mr. Suave Man or whatever he kept saying about the British guy was so
Yeah.
funny. And that's a really cool part about this book is you're reading. Sorry, Lyssa Kay Adams. We never mentioned her name. She
No,
wrote.
sure didn't.
She wrote the novel they were reading in the book club in the book, and
No, she didn't.
she
I
wrote.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the thing she was writing was her, and so
Okay.
yeah. So like, it's a fake book, and she's just like putting those pages in there to make the story happen, and she's going to be writing the actual book. That's her next book she's working on. Is the one that's in.
I See, I thought it was already out because when I looked at this, there was a prequel in Goodreads, and it was called like The Countess or whatever.
Mm.
And I was like, "Oh, that's cool that it's a book," but I didn't know it was in the works.
You know, It's coming out soon, so everyone's excited for that one. That's her next release. But I thought that was super genius. I've never read a book that like they're reading a book and you get to jump in the book, and I thought that was way cool for this novel.
Yeah, it's awesome, especially the like secondhand voices because I'm notorious, especially with the Legend of Dritz,
Uh huh.
dude. When I binge those, I'll start having like dwarvish accents in my brain.
Yeah.
I'm trying so hard when I'm talking to people not to have an accent.
They're like, let's go onward.
Yeah.
We must fight.
Just yeah, giving them all just these little made up voices.
I love that. It's so true. Like that. I think that's what captured like I don't know. I think a topic we could talk about is like it did kind of capture the male side of thinking. Like I thought she did a good job of doing that
Yeah,
because
I thought so.
I literally do those things. I have made up voices. Sometimes I'm so focused on one thing I don't even notice certain aspects of my life, you know. And that was the huge conversation with Gavin is he wasn't noticing his depression, Thea's depression, and them just kind of coasting after they got married. And
Right.
mine's not that bad, but I have like micro things of that, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, yeah, like she captured guyness really well, I guess. Guyness, I don't know, that's a word.
Yeah, I think so. Especially eating everything. Every time I go to someone's house,
Yeah.
just piling plates and just in the background eating all their food without even thinking about it. Especially if they're like good friends.
Yeah.
I'm in their fridge, going through their cabinets.
Who ate my Chinese food?
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
thought that was really funny that she encompassed that as well, or them like destroying one of the toilets down in the basement.
Vlad, yeah. The Russian. I liked that. We have to talk about like Thea's sister Liv is like the voice of moving forward. Like they both were like injured a little bit, and so like Thea's story is she doesn't have trust with her father because he left their mother so young, right? And so she has like
Right.
relationship issues when someone leaves. And so we were joking about like him leaving after the big O, but the whole thing that like started the domino effect was that he literally decided to sleep in the guest room because of it, and that triggered her
Right.
to all of a sudden be like, I don't trust you. You're going to be just like my dad. And that
Yeah,
was
her PTSD or trauma.
yeah. And so like having the sister there always kind of like they both have the same PTSD was like really cool to like have her be like, no, you do this, like do that, like what are you doing? And it's almost like she's a little guilty too of keeping her in a different zone. And
Right.
it was a really interesting conversation to see that, and I liked it. Like there was, even though it's a romance, the thing that got me is like I thought romance was just gonna be smut. To be all honest,
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like, oh, here's like these scenes, and you're like, wow, this is great, you know, I guess. But like in this, it was like, oh no, there's like huge emotional journeys going on, and like intricate human emotion, and then there's the payoff. The payoff is the smut. That means the relationship is getting fixed. I guess you could say. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And
It's
especially from seeing it from both perspectives. So it's not just the romance from the girl's perspective, but it was nice to see the dudes coming together and learning to be vulnerable. And I liked that all the guys would be serious and funny and ruining toilets. And then when things really reached a peak, they would all settle down, listen, really be there for him. And I thought that was super cool about the book, that all these guys were supposed to be the model of like masculinity,
yeah,
and they were using that to help him be more, I wouldn't even say feminine, just more in tune with his emotions,
yeah.
which was really cool.
I love that too. Like, I think it did show that masculinity is a lot more than just being macho and like athletic. I guess As a
Yeah.
chubby guy, I really I'm just kidding, but uh,
Oh, me too.
but like it was really good to see that masculinity is also being able to communicate very well, because in any relationship in our life, the big key is communication. And so this
Yep.
book was just like, I have to learn how to communicate my emotions so that she can feel comfortable to communicate her emotions, so that we can be able to get back together and also thrive in a relationship. And it was a perfect like way
It
of having a realistic relationship.
Yeah, and it was a perfect like balance in the book of funny, silly, and serious, real relationship issues being taken head on. I liked that. I liked that. I'd be laughing one chapter and then reading the next, and I was like, "Oh man, this is actually getting deep." And then they were really good at balancing it so that
Yeah,
you weren't getting too overwhelmed with either.
I agree 100%. I've laughed. I didn't cry in this book, but I laughed and I was just in it the whole time. Like, I was just like, this is fun and serious, and then you know explicit, and it was good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he overcompensates at the end for neg- negating her
3 years.
O's all these years. Three
Yeah,
years. So that was over the top at the end. It's like 50 in a day or whatever.
yeah. I was like, nice alpha male, good job.
Yeah. But
I
no,
I
that
enjoyed it.
was
I loved it. So
it was such a good book, and I'm excited. So I think we decided I was going to pick the next one,
yeah,
and there was a second one in the book, or a second one in the series that I was going to pick, and I think the next one is Max and Liv.
yeah. It's Mac
I
and
believe
Liv.
so.
Yeah, that's Undercover
So,
Bromance. So it's more of a
yep,
spy romance, I guess.
yeah. So hopefully next month we can get into that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And also let us know, like, we're recording just talking, but obviously this is going to go out to all of you guys. So let us know if you enjoy this. Well, what's going to happen is 1 month it's going to be on my channel. 1 month it's going to be on Bookish Daddy's channel. So make sure you subscribe to both of our channels so you don't miss the Bromance Book Club. And after we finish this series, we'll just keep reading romance novels. I think that's kind of fun, or whatever novels we want to
Yeah,
read at the time. So I think that'd be cool.
I think it'd be pretty cool too if people end up enjoying it. We could start like a Discord and have all of you join us, and uh, guys or girls, doesn't have to be just guys. We could all just have a bromance together.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Bookish Daddy, for doing this with me. And again, let us know if you like this, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me on, and I hope you all enjoyed it.